Black Maria teases and torments Sanji, who, despite his suffering, still refuses to attack a woman. With the other Straw Hats unable to help him, she gives Sanji an ultimatum. Either he delivers Robin to her, or he faces unspeakable punishment. Faced with an impossible choice, Sanji shows his loyalty in a way that only he can.
On the next One Piece, Sanji's scream. An SOS echoes over the island. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Thwarting Black Maria's plot to keep the battered Sanji ensnared in her web, Robin and Brooks step in to teach the spider a lesson. Seeing the bond between the members of the Straw Hats, the Black Widow of the Toby Ropo erupts into a fiery rage and leaps into battle with her wounded pride on the line.
On the next One Piece, Spank strikes. Sanji's woman trouble. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
With a heartfelt vow to his fallen comrades in arms, Hyogoro the Flower prepares to take his final bow. Willing his body to carry on, he cuts a swath through Kaido's army, wielding the same strength he once showed in his prime. Having repaid the man who brought him hope once more, he entrusts the future of his beloved country to Luffy.
On the next One Piece, No Regrets. Luffy and Boss, a master-disciple bond. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Everyone knows Kozuki Oden, but no one knows him better than me, Yamato! As an honorary Oden myself, it's my duty to share his tales of adventure with the world! Join me and Oden's son, Momonosuke, as we take a look back on the amazing life of Wano's hero! On the next One Piece! A comprehensive anatomy, the legend of Kozuki Oden. I'm gonna open the land of Wano's borders!
Chopper makes a breakthrough. After testing the antidote on himself, he works to get the cure to as many Ice Honey victims as possible. However, Queen is making it difficult by turning the Plague Pirates against him. Meanwhile, the Akazaya Samurai regain consciousness and find a beacon of hope when they are greeted by a familiar voice.
On the next One Piece, all set. Chopper Fade's nebulizer. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
The wild laughter of Kozuki Oden echoes through the halls of Onigashima. Battered in defeat, the Akazaya Samurai find hope once more in the smiling face of their long-lost lord. The means of his return is uncertain, but the hope to right the wrong of 20 years past burns in the hearts of the loyal samurai.
On the next One Piece, Oden appears. The confused hearts of the Akazaya members. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Kaido and Big Mom overpower the worst generation by unleashing an attack of unimaginable strength. This deadly onslaught makes both victory and escape seem beyond reach. Elsewhere in Kaido's castle, old foes and old grudges return as the Akazaya Samurai engage in a desperate struggle.
On the next One Piece, the worst generation gets wiped out, the Emperor's deadly attack. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Thunder roars in the skies above Onigashima as Kaido rains down one terrifying blow after another. Filled with boundless resolve, Luffy matches the mighty Emperor's strength. As the battle rages on, the other members of the worst generation work together to perform a miracle that will bring forth a new era.
On the next One Piece, the Supernovas strike back. The mission to tear apart the Emperors. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
The worst generation's plan succeeds and Big Mom is driven away from Kaido. But the battle is far from won. Law and Zoro step forward to protect Luffy, who is temporarily stunned from Kaido's assault. With his back against the wall, Zoro unleashes the power of Enma and tests the limits of his strength.
On the next One Piece, defend Luffy. Zoro and Law's sword technique. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy holds his wounded comrades in his heart and the strength of his conviction in his fists. With a revelation born in combat, he finds a path to overcome Kaido. As the strength of a conqueror surges through his body, Luffy makes a bold proclamation and backs it up with blows that can make even an emperor kneel.
On the next One Piece, surpass the Emperor of the Sea. Luffy strikes back with an iron fist. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Years ago, when Luffy was a young boy dreaming of adventure, he met Uta, the musician of the red-haired pirates. Sharing tales of her travel and hopes for the future, Luffy became rivals and then friends with the young singer who dreamt of changing the world. This is their story that has never been told before.
On the next One Piece, a faint memory. Luffy and Red-Haired's daughter, Uta. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Luffy and Uta share adventures every day, climbing mountains and paddling out to sea. But Uta dreams of more than her daily competitions with Luffy, and she shares her vision with the young boy of a new Genesis. However, the bond between the two is soon broken when Luffy is left lost and confused, wondering what secrets Shanks is hiding.
On the next One Piece, a pledge for the new Genesis. Luffy and Uta. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
On the eve of Uta's concert in Elegia, the Navy prepares for a covert operation. Troubling reports about red-haired Shanks spreads fear that the show will turn into a disastrous incident. Shanks' motivations are still shrouded in mystery, but a look into his past may reveal a clue. On the next One Piece, the captain's log of the legend, red-haired Shanks. I'm gonna become a Navy Admiral.
It's the Clash of the Conqueror's Haki. After Law clears the battlefield, Luffy and Kaido resume their monumental struggle. It's a skirmish in the land of Wano where neither side is willing to yield. Meanwhile, Big Mom's onslaught is halted by a reunion with Otama. But when she finds out what happened to Okamore Town, her rage is unleashed once again.
On the next One Piece, Nami screams, a deadly death race. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Momonosuke senses the progression in Luffy and Kaido's battle. Yamato heads out to enter the fray. Ulti challenges Big Mom to get revenge for her brother. All across Onigashima, the shifting pieces of the conflict rearrange themselves as the battle for the future of Wano enters a new phase.
On the next One Piece, the dawn of the land of Wano, the all-out battle heats up. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Nami's struggle inside the castle continues as Big Mom threatens to shift from ally to deadly enemy. Meanwhile, Luffy bets everything on his special technique that can surpass Kaido's iron defenses. With the ability to defeat an emperor finally in his grasp, Luffy pounds on the door to a new age with a Haki-infused fist.
On the next One Piece, the conclusion. Luffy accelerating fist of the conqueror. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Kaido overpowers Luffy, and the echoes of our hero's Haki fade as he plummets into the sea. Inside the castle, Big Mom, Perospero, and Queen remain undefeated, backing the Straw Hats into a corner. As Kaido announces his victory, the hope for Wano's future seems more uncertain than ever.
On the next One Piece, Luffy defeated. The Straw Hats in jeopardy. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Kaido declares victory. With Luffy defeated, the Beast Pirates gain momentum in the battle with the Straw Hats, and Chopper must make a difficult decision before his strength fades. Meanwhile, Kanjiro makes his way to Momonosuke and prepares to bring the Kozeki clan to an end. Kinemon rushes to the scene, but he may be too late.
On the next One Piece, the Beast Pirates trample down. The end of the Kozeki clan. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Hey! This is Eustace Kid! You know, the guy who challenged two emperors of the sea to a fight! That one's going down in the history books, just you wait and see! A new era's coming, and those stubborn old farts can't stop it! On the next One Piece, a comprehensive anatomy! Fierce fight! The five from the new generation! I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Do you hear me?!
The samurai army's morale reaches an all-time low when news of Luffy's death is reported in a shocking announcement made by Bao Huang. Without their captain to lead the way, the Straw Hats and their allies fear the battle may have already been lost. Suddenly, when things are looking their darkest, Momonosuke finds a way to reinstill hope.
On the next One Piece, fight against the Dark Knight. The commander-in-chief of the land of Wano sounds off. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
The samurai forces hold out against the enemy while they await Luffy's return. Kid stands up against Big Mom, and Law enters the battle beside him. The spirits of the Straw Hats and their allies burn bright once more, showing unwavering resolve in the face of Kaido and his most deadly officers.
On the next One Piece, believe in Luffy. The Alliance's counterattack begins. I'm gonna be king of the pirates!